So it's another brilliant day here in Canterbury. The clouds are down, it's misty airs. And the good part is that, well, at least I know I'm alive. I don't know about you, Frank, but
I'll tell you, I'm going for a scan at 9:30 this morning. So I'll tell you how I am.
we'll find out if you're here next week.
Exactly.
So, yeah, thanks for joining us. And I'll just find some bits of information. Here we go. A couple that sprang out of the meeting of the executive last week. One is that we do have some roles within the organisation that need to be filled, and it's not necessary that you become an executive committee member to be part of the roles that we'd like filled. So we need someone to fill the events and reunion side of things. So have someone who's happy to pitch in and organise stuff for get-togethers, whether it's something happening in Rarotonga or something a bit more local, or even right down to your RSA down the road. Give us a bell and tell us that you're interested, and we'll see what we can work out together. We also need someone, as I notice on the page, to look after our web page to make sure it's up to date and the information is accurate. And the last one is, at the moment, someone to pitch in and help Morris share the burden with just looking after the membership to ensure that they're recorded, that the membership list is up to date, and people who are new to the association get a membership pack sent out. The other one is so I think. Frank, when was that affiliates meeting that you fronted? We did on the old Zoom.
17th of April, 2024.
17th of April.
I got the document.
Good on you. And it was broadcast that there would be within a week or two the results of that would be shared far and wide. And they've arrived this week, so I'll pluck out the key points that are of interest, put those up on the Facebook page as a file, and we'll talk to them next week. So it's another good one. Frank, you got anything that's popped up out of the woodwork?
Yeah, well, I received yesterday, or I probably received it the day before. I'm running a bit behind schedule. I've received from the Social Wellbeing Agency. Now, I
Yes.
won't tell you what it's in Maori because it's about a line long. It is building an evidence-based understanding veteran outcomes. Now, actually, what it tells us is the ages, well, what they estimate are the ages of veterans that are still around. They actually state here, their first line in the document: to date, government agencies have been unable to source comprehensive data about the veteran population, as there is no complete record or evidence of those who served in the Defence Forces. Now, that is incredible. I can't work out why they have never tracked everyone after they leave. It looks like it's once you go out the gate, take your ID card off you, and that's it. You're forgotten.
Yeah.
It's quite an extensive document. It goes right through male and female and the proportion of veterans through time. And of course, as you can imagine, from World War II, Korean veterans down are now very few. And they're working its way down through the age groups. And our biggest population of veterans are those between 20 and 24, I think it was. Just give me a minute. That's the biggest number of veterans we have at the moment that they can work out. So,
do they give a definition of what they used as a veteran?
Sorry, what was that, Dennis?
Did they give a definition
No,
of what they used as a veteran? Their
no, they
terminology.
only mentioned the what the old under the old Act,
Yeah.
who was a veteran, and that was only those who'd had operational service. And then under the new Act, it came those prior to 1st of April 1974, and those who have operational service at any time and are classed as veterans.
Right.
So whether they're calling everyone a veteran or not, it doesn't say. It just
So,
says what the what a veteran is according to the Act.
so if you have a look down below that definition from the
Yeah,
Act, you'll see a little piece where they used a definition that was used by the Veterans for
yep.
Veterans, and I think that's the definition they've used.
That's all those who've completed a period of military service but who no longer serve.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah, so you reckon that's what they've used?
That's the one that they've used to
Yep.
collate the data.
Oh, yeah, yep.
And one of the things about it, um, and I read it briefly just the other day, is that in picking out segments, what they have done is actually eliminated people who are eligible because they don't appear uh, the Veterans Affairs records,
Mm,
and so they're eliminated, and that means many people who are members of our association are eliminated from the survey because they're not eligible for support from Veterans Affairs,
yeah,
served post 1974, no qualifying operational service. So a little bit harder to track down in the data. And so there is a big chunk of people who are missing from the survey. That's by my reading of it. I could be well
yeah,
wrong. Someone from, I think it was Veterans Affairs put that document out or spread it out, apart from
yeah. I think
social
it
work.
is.
Yeah.
I haven't read the whole thing yet. I only got it yesterday, and I'm not a fan of reading documents because I tend to fall asleep.
Fair
And
enough.
of course,
Give us some
accompanying
more.
that was all the graphs that
Yep.
they've sent. You can read it. 44,000 veterans living in New Zealand, and it divides them all up into different who's got disabilities, who's employed.
Yep.
And it was interesting. I did read that the majority of people actually go into public service, like police,
Yep.
security, all that type of things.
Yep. Yep.
Very few went into dairy farming like I did. So what happened?
But also interesting to note that in the period of their research, which I think was over a 2 year period,
Yeah, yeah,
2019, 2021, something like that, 27% of those who served weren't in full-time employment.
yeah, yeah. I saw that bit.
So that's a bit of a disturbing statistic. Good to see that the majority of those who served um, have been able to go on to other careers in other places. And as you mentioned, corrections, ambulance, fire, police, or just a government agency. And if you knock on the door of any of the agencies here in Christchurch, you find either someone who has served who's there, or the family member of someone who has served. And they're
Mm,
actually quite approachable and quite helpful for those who work in the support area through the RSA to assist people because they've got an understanding of what's going on, and they're
yeah,
inclined to be a bit more supportive by, have you thought about this? What about linking with this group and so on? So they're quite those who have served, who work in those other government agencies, particularly support related, WINS and the like, very helpful. So good
yeah,
on you, those of you who've served and work in those capacities.
yeah. Now, will anything come of this?
Well, I think I think it's interesting that it's the first modelling, if you like, of the veteran community, because I think it's linked also, and I think they said they did a test. So they tested their modelling against the known
Yeah.
Vietnam veterans with
Yes, that's right.
something like 85% accuracy. They could depict
Mm.
who the veterans were in the data. So that's quite good. So that's quite accurate, and I think that they are able to now um, start talking about, firstly, the numbers that have served, and secondly, they're able to access information that will point in the direction of the health and well-being of those people, which allows the government to actually make better informed decisions. Because in the past, prior to the release of this information, it's all been a bit airy-fairy
Yeah.
because no one's got the data. And now we have, and we live in this data-driven society. So there you go.
Well, just looking here, that the veterans who had impaired mobility, and my age is the highest.
Oh,
There we go. I'm in the right demographic. Is that the word?
that's the word. Yeah, not that's excellent. Well done.
So that shows you it's pretty accurate.
Yeah. So the other thing that popped out of the executive committee meeting, and Frank, you might have to give me the date. I know it's in July, but the AGM.
20. Gosh, I wrote it down too. Sorry, 23rd, I think it is.
Okay, and
23rd
that's
of July at Birkenhead RSA.
at the Birkenhead RSA. That's right. So
Yeah.
that's something to put into your diary. And in conjunction with that, just a reminder that to vote on the day at the AGM, you need to be a financial member. So appropriate that we're looking for someone to help with the membership to alleviate some of Morris's burdens. Get your dollars and cents in, and remember there was a bit of a membership drive earlier on, I think about March, and we set aside, if you get this paid or you whatever paid, we'll give you 4 years or whatever, 5 years free membership and things like that. So those kind of competition elements of getting your membership joined are still alive, and we just need to go through and sort the information out. And come the AGM, we'll be able to say, well, these people have been fortunate enough to get the next 4 years for nothing, blah, blah, blah. Speaking of the support stuff too from that came out of that document, we need to give a shout out to Wally O'Sullivan. So one of the articles I posted, I think it was over the weekend, um, obviously touched a nerve with Wally, and he mentioned that he's been out assisting people, and he identified some of the problems that people don't know what they're eligible for, and even if you think you're not eligible, who knows, you might be. And it's good to see the odd individual like Wally out there doing the hard work, not only finding these people, but once having found them, instead of just passing the buck to the RSA support people, rolling up his sleeves and getting involved. So it's moving the support as far as how it operates. Instead of, I think back in the post-Vietnam days, we had those companies that served and they were easy to locate. But now it's more down to individual relationships with people that you're aware of, and that means seeking out your friends. Doesn't matter which service they were in or where they served. Just checking. Have you got anything through Veterans Affairs? Have you registered? Do you know what you can access? This kind of support through the RSA support network if you need it. And let's see if we can work together. And I think if we get enough support, enough people going out there, there are a couple of training modules that are run by the RSA to help you be a little bit more efficient and effective, because the very top of the list is one of those privacy modules, and we have to look after the data of those other people. So there you go. That's just something to be aware of. And also from another article that I threw up that was in relation to loans, I think it was, from in the UK. So NZ Defence people there were entitled to, I think it was about £25,000 or something like that. And it raised the question of the old rehab loan system and what's happening for people in New Zealand. We know that those who are currently in service, if you've got a service house, so whether that's in Burnham or Ohakia or somewhere around Devonport, they must be pretty expensive properties up there, I'd say. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
they only have 6 years and then they've got to get out. And if you're on, these struggling on the wages that they're currently getting, um, not very easy if you're raising a young family to put aside the deposit to get into a house, because the interest rates are high. The 20% threshold, I think it still is. You've got to have that saved before the banks will talk to you. Life gets a bit difficult. So good on Joe for writing to the RSA to say maybe you need to get the rehab loan or something similar, because the rehab loan really is only focused to people who've served overseas. And that's a bit interesting. If the conditions of service that apply to people who served in Singapore between 74 and 89 is not qualified as operational service, and in many cases no different to service in New Zealand, how come they were able to access rehab loans and the
yeah,
furniture loans?
yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
that's a bit of an anomaly. Needs to be sorted, perhaps. So
Yeah,
there you go.
exactly.
Shout out to Joe. Good on you. And just down in
Yep.
that vein, um, one of our executive has been hot on the trail of the OIAs, and got a few bit of feedback from the NZ Defence. Wasn't happy with the answers, so took it to the next level to the Ombudsman. And this week has had some feedback from the Ombudsman's office, or actually it was last week, and has resubmitted some information. And they've come back with identifying some questions that perhaps should be asked of NZ Defence in relation to service between 74 and 89, especially in relation to things like threat assessments and so on. So we won't wait with bated breath, but it would appear that NZ Defence is a little bit under the thumb, because we had that release last Thursday by the Ombudsman of the information around Operation Burnham, and the fact that I think it was classified as poor systems inside NZ's Defence allowed some information that should have been released to not be released. But there you go. I don't know. I'm just on the outside looking
Yeah,
in.
that was interesting about the danger from animals and things like that. Never ever taken into consideration, is it?
Well, no, and I think there are six headings under environmental threat, and if you served in the jungles of Malaya between 71 and 89, you can tick 5 of those 6 boxes,
Mm.
which is a bit interesting. And I think the other thing was that uh, there's a difference. So in New Zealand, peacetime service, no such thing as a threat assessment unless it's carried out by the police or by the uh, other civil agencies. So that doesn't happen. But it does happen when you served in Singapore. It did happen when people served in Singapore. And even if the threat was low, um, I don't know. If they came back and said no threat, well, that's different to a low threat. And the threat of
Mm.
any nature is still a threat. Well, it was when I went to school. I don't know.
Mm. Exactly.
There you go. So, okay, that's me.
Yeah.
Let's do the crossing the bars and things, Frank.
Yeah. Okay, then I'll start off now. This is quite a sad one, as this person unfortunately died by himself and was not found for, I think it was 2 weeks. NZ 18783 Mills Richard, Royal New Zealand Navy, joined as a weapon mechanic, January 66. He served on the Blackpool and other ships. He crossed the bar approximately 2 weeks ago. Now, the police have been brought into this, and the coroner has also been brought in, as they can find no next of kin, no relatives, no nothing. And the police contacted me to see if I could help identifying who he was, or they knew the name but didn't know any of the other information. And thankfully, through our naval contacts, we managed to get his service number and when he served, etc., etc. Now, the police are arranging for Richard to be cremated. A date at this stage hasn't been advised, but they will let me know. Then we
Thanks
have,
for that.
I don't have his service number, this gentleman, Grant Tim, known as Sticky, and AHA, I'm sorry, I do not know that rank, RNZN, crossed the bar on Wednesday, the 15th of May in Russell after being struck by a car. Funeral will be held 20th at 11:30 at Christchurch, Russell. D23670 McLennan Raymond Walter, known as Ray, a Lieutenant Commander, Royal New Zealand Navy, crossed the bar on May the 6th, 2024. Memorial for Ray will be held at HMNZS Toaroa, St Andrew Street, Dunedin at 14:30 on Saturday, June the 22nd, 2024. You may get a live stream of Ray's service at www.tributes.co.nz. And we have R1005230, Barry Shane Phillip, known as Beaker, POET, Electrical Branch, RNZN, crossed the bar 16th of May 2024. He served 21 January 98 to 8th of April 2013. The service will be held 1400 Thursday the 23rd of May 2024 at Dill's Funeral Home, Snapper Rock, Albany. I pass on our condolences to all family and friends of those sailors.
Thanks, Frank.
Right.
I only have one, and I'm still awaiting just a little bit of confirmation. 41804, Mardle, Mardle, Doon William, known as Don, RNZIR, passed away on the 21st of the 5th, 24, which is yesterday. Doon served with Whiskey 2 in South Vietnam, and his funeral will be held on Friday, the 24th of May, 10:30 at Lamb and Hayward in Horswell, Christchurch. And it turns out that Doon is a first cousin once removed, I think, is the correct nomenclature, but a member of my wider family. So a little bit personal this time round. And we offer our condolences to the family and to those of the naval personnel who have passed away. And as usual, we offer our support in any way possible that we can assist. And I think, Frank, with that chappie who passed away on his own, I recall a few years back now, someone who had served in Singapore passed away on the streets of Auckland. And I don't know how we found out, but we were advised of the funeral service, again organised by the police because they couldn't locate family, and we organised to have a few association members and those who served with them turn up at the funeral. So although they may have died on their own, they were remembered at the funeral service. So once we find out details for that Navy chap, Frank, we can broadcast that far and wide and get as many people there as is possible to honour his passing.
Yep, we'll do that.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them, lest we forget.
Oh, thank you, Frank, and thanks for those of you who plug in and have a watch and have a listen. There's nothing top secret about what we're talking about, and yeah, spread the word around, and if possible, you belong to other sites that are outside the ones that we post on, something like 22 different sites amongst the services. And if you have access to other sites through your affiliations to cause or different parts of the services, feel free to spread the word around that we're out here doing the job, trying to assist the members of our association and also those in the wider ex-services community. So thanks for checking with us. We'll be back next week, same time, same bat channel. Well, maybe we might be a
Yep.
bit different time. And we'll let you go, Frank, let you get away to your medical appointment for
Yep.
later on today.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thanks, folks, for checking in, and we'll check with you next week.